Good afternoon. The civilian convoy to Scarborough Shoal in the West Philippine Sea returned safely to Subic fishing port early Friday morning, despite several encounters with Chinese vessels during the two-day trip. The mother ship FBCA Bingbing, along with four other boats, already returned to port at around 1:30 a.m. on Friday, May 17. The Atinito coalition managed to conduct its activities like placement of symbolic markers in the West Philippine Sea and the distribution of fuel and food packs to Filipino fisherfolk through an advance party of the convoy. This was despite several encounters with China Coast Guard vessels, which tailed FBCA Bingbing since Wednesday, May 15, one of which came as close as 100 meters. One of the China Coast Guard ships shadowed the convoy until Thursday noon, while a People's Liberation Army Navy warship was also seen within the vicinity of the mother boat. FBCA Bingbing's Captain Agustina Bustillo says China's radio challenges began just several nautical miles away after the convoy's mother ship crossed outside the 12 nautical miles of the country's territorial waters off Masinloc Town in Zambales. Bustillo says this was before the ship reached about 43 nautical miles away from Masinloc Town on Wednesday afternoon. According to Bustillo, he heard the radio challenge between the China Coast Guard and the Philippine Coast Guard through the mother boat's VHF radio, which he said occurred more than a dozen times. The 2016 arbitral ruling declared Scarborough Shoal a traditional fishing ground that should be shared by the Philippines, China, and Vietnam. However, China refuses to recognize this ruling. President Bongbong Marcos encourages security forces to upgrade their skills as the country is facing a shifting battleground that will go beyond traditional war fighting. According to the palace on Friday, May 17, Marcos met with the troops of Camp Edilberto Evangelista in Cagayan de Oro City on Thursday, May 16. The president tells the troops that there are new threats to the nation's security, urging the military to develop skills required to combat new forms of warfare, which extends to the digital realm. He also says the troops must be ready to combat false narratives and disinformation, as well as implement countermeasures to thwart the enemy's schemes. Marcos's statement comes amid rumors of a destabilization plot against his administration. Former Senator Antonio Trillanes IV earlier alleged that ranking police and military officials were plotting to oust the president. But PNP Chief General Romel Marbil squashed these allegations, saying he was confident that there is no truth to the rumors involving the alleged ouster plot against Marcos. President Bongbong Marcos wants stricter enforcement of visa rules in the country amid reported cases of exploitation by foreign nationals. When asked in an ambush interview if there is a need to enforce stricter visa rules on Chinese nationals entering the country, Marcos acknowledges the reported abuses in the process.
Ang problema lang, dahil maliwanag na maliwanag at lumalabas ang mga report na meron nag-aabuso nito. Kaya't babantayan namin ito. So what we will do is to more strictly enforce. Whereas dati hindi natin masyadong tinitignan, nakita natin maraming nagiging problema dahil dyan nakakakuha sila ng mga peke na dokumento, kung ano-ano ginagawa, may mga illegal, mga scammer, mga human trafficking.
The Department of Foreign Affairs earlier said it is imposing an additional requirement for Chinese nationals who are seeking tourist visas. For the DFA, this would serve as a measure against syndicates who target new arrivals for exploitation in illegal Philippine offshore gaming operators or POGOs. The Chinese nationals are now required to present social security documents on top of government IDs, bank documents, and employment certificates. Marcos points out that while the same rules apply to everyone, there is a need for stricter enforcement.
Pantay-pantay lang lahat, pero gagandahan namin ang enforcement doon sa examination, doon sa mga nag-a-apply ng visa o doon sa mga nagko-convert doon sa tourist visa ng student visa at yung mga bumibili ng lupa dahil nagtatanggap sila na Pilipino sila.
Here's the latest roundup of today's top stories. Scarborough Shoal civilian convoy safely returns to Subic, Zambales despite encounters with Chinese vessels during the two-day trip. President Bongbong Marcos tells troops to fight false narratives and disinformation. and mixed adjustments in fuel prices seen next week. These are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.